Firstly, I'd like to start off by saying that the ActRaiser soundtrack is one of my favorite game soundtracks of all time, and it's absolutely beautiful and inspiring to me in like every way. I listen to it all the time. And I wanted to ask a small favor, I suppose. I brought a small piano with me, and I was wondering if you would be willing to play a short song for us, perhaps. Yes, please.
Hi. And that was a great bit of piano, by the way. Go Straight from Streets of Rage 2 is one of my favorite video game tracks ever. What can you tell us about how you wrote it?
Can you specify a little bit?
Sort of the writing process or influences or anything that you can tell us about how you wrote that track.
ですね、インスピレーション特に何かを聴いててっていうのはなくて、当時とにかくたくさんテクノミュージックとハウスミュージックたくさん聴いてました。で聴いてていやもちろんYouTube もないですし、もう CD をインポートして聴くか、あとクラブに行ってこうたくさん毎週行って踊ってたんですけどでそういうのでたくさんテクノハウスあと、ラップミュージックとかそういうの聴いて、そういうのからインスピレーションを受けてますけど、特にゴーストレイトが、何かからインスピレーションを受けたっていうのはなかったんですけど、なんか最近
So at the time there was no YouTube, though YouTube wasn't as prevalent as it is now. And so in order to listen to house and techno music, which is what he really likes, you have to either import CDs, listen to those CDs, or go to clubs and every week he went dancing at these clubs.
なんですけど、ですね、最近 YouTube 見てたらなんかベアナックルの、音楽の元はこれだみたいなそういうなんかそういうビデオを作ってる人がいて見てみたんですけど、確かに似てるなっていうのが結構あって自分では全然意識してなかったんですけど、ゴーストレイトも結構似てる曲あるんですよ。似てる曲あるんですけど、私全然それ覚えてないんですよね。でも多分クラブとかでいっぱい聴いてるうちになんか頭の中に入ってきて、それの影響っていうのをすごい多分受けてたんじゃないかなと思います。
Then recently, when he was listening to YouTube, he researched and he found the original types of house and techno music. While listening to that, he realized that his music for Ghost Ray, a lot of it is very similar, and so it's not necessarily that he's wanted to use those motifs, like use those melodic content, something techno and half music, but while listening to a lot of it, that's how he did get some inspiration and some influence for his work. But he personally doesn't really, didn't make that conscious effort. It was more of a subconscious, while listening to all his music all the time kind of decision.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello. The question I was going to ask has actually already been asked, so I'm going to try another question. Yes, I first heard of you actually from a version of East Book 1 and 2 that came out here in the US. And I know you did the original versions of those in Japan on the PC-88. And I guess my question is, first, have you heard of some of the rearrangements of this music? And when you wrote it for the PC-88, did you, did you have in mind that it would turn into did you have a more rock, guitar type oriented sound in mind when you wrote those songs in that format?
アメリカでリリースされているんですか、今。なので、特にアメリカでリリースされるということは意識してないというか、そのリリースされることも知らない、されていることも知らないので、もちろん意識してないんですけど、全然なくて、使えるものが PC-88 でしかなかったから、それを使っただけなんですけど、なんでそのロックの音楽を使っているかっていうことではないんですか？
So he personally doesn't know about a release that would happen these days, but he basically used the PC-88 because that was what was at his disposal, was PC-88, and he wanted to use it. However, to transcribe that as a rock version to be released in the States, didn't really have that preconception.
All right. Well, thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I wanted to ask, seeing that you have a lot of music that it is popular with the games, there's a lot of people use them in like remixes and use them in mashups, and I want to know what do you think of that? Like, do you like that? Do you not like it?
Yeah, I love them.
Hello, I've got two questions. One of them will be very short. I'll ask that second. My first question is, are we going to hear the FM arrange for Saikaju no Meikyu 4? I've heard it's been cancelled.
ちょっと難しいですね。ちょっと込み入った話なんですけどまずキャンセルされたことは私も知らなくて で私の友人からなんかキャンセルされてるよって話を聞いて、でネットを見たら本当にキャンセルになってたみたいで、アレンジアルバムに関してはレコード会社が主導でやってたので、私は全然なんていうかあまりよく知らないんです実は。申し訳ないんですけど、ただ、その計画を立てていた、プロデューサーがそこのレコード会社から移籍してしまったので、ちょっとしばらくは出せないと思うんですけど、まあチャンスは実はというかあると思います。これからも、世界一の迷宮シリーズは、続いていくと思いますし、その中でFM 音源を使った、音楽 BGM っていうのはこれからも作っていこうと私自身はそう考えていますので、チャンスは十分にあると思います。
So it's a little bit of an involved answer. However, he originally did not know of the cancellation. He got a phone call from his friend saying, "Hey, it's been canceled," and he checked and yes, it's been canceled. So he didn't really know about it. However, the original company who brought me up, they moved. But he does believe that Sekai Jima Meki is a series that will continue, and so he believes that there will be chances in the future to listen to Sekai Jima Meki 4.
My second question is, have you finished work on Seventh Dragon 2022 yet?
Yes.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Thank you for coming here. I want to ask, back in the day when you were working on the Streets of Rage series, like the house and the techno trance music was very underground. Can you tell us how you got into that kind of music, how you got into that kind of scene?
Mm. そうですね、確かに、アンダーグラウンドだったと思うんですけど、当時私日本の音楽よりもですね、ベアナックルを作る前にストレートブレイジを作る前に一回ロスに来てるんですよ。で LA に来てて、で MTV を見てたんですね。で当時はねパソコンとかもないですからひたすらMTV を見るのが好きで、そこで流れている音楽に非常に衝撃を受けたんですよ。すごい、ね、でこれを日本でその時は全然そういうの知れてなくて、で一部のマニアしか知らないクラブミュージックをベースにした音楽がいっぱい流れてて、私すごい当時すごい気に入った音楽の中にミリバニーっていうバンドがあるんですけれど、それとかすごい好きで、そういう CD とかも日本で手に入らないのでLA で買ってで持ち帰ってで聴いたりしてたんですけど、で日本の音楽よりもむしろそういうアメリカで当時流行っていた曲、あとイギリスで流行っていたクラブミュージック、そういう方の聴く方がすごい好きで、そういうのをだから買ってきたり、あと日本じゃ買えないからインポートをわざわざお願いして買って、あとクラブ行ってるってさっき言いましたけど、そういうクラブではそういう新しい音楽がいつもかかっていたので、それを聴いて、そういうのが大好きでした。
For the Streets of Rage, he actually was residing in Los Angeles at the time, in LA, and he liked to watch MTV. That's always on. And in MTV, the background music was always very house-oriented at the time. Not really found in Japan, as you said, it's very underground. So he decided he likes the music so much, and the only way to really listen to it, because the computers aren't as prevalent as they are now, was to continually watch MTV and to listen to it over and over again. When he went back to Japan, he would import them from Europe and from America, CDs over, and just, as he said earlier, go to clubs, because they always had the latest, most popular, and he would just keep listening to those over and over and over again.
Second question, real quick one. What is your favorite American beer, and can I buy you a round later?
There's really no too many American beers. He knows that Budweiser is popular, however, he doesn't really drink Budweiser.
Before we continue, we'll finish the line now, but we can't take more questions because we have to finish up in time. So it's not that I don't love you, but we don't have time. Alright? Alright, so just continue.
おはようございます。本当ごめん。日本語はちょっと話します。
はい。
ステージレイジ2とリベンジの忍びとステージレイジ3、どちらの方が好きですか？
どちらが好きですか？そうですね、ストリートレイジ2が一番好きですね。
Can you translate your question to
for the Zenio translation, I asked him which one did he prefer the most, Street Rage 2, Revenge of Shinobi, or Street Rage 3, and he picked 2.
Thank you.
小城さんの音楽をして、武道家になりました。本当にありがとう。武道家になった。はい。ありがとうございます。
That was a nice comment.
Thank you for taking the time to answer our questions. As someone who's been able to compose for video games as the technology has been growing, have you found that you're forced to be more creative with the limitations of the older hardware? Or now that you can work and complete on compressed audio, is it like opened up your full creativity?
特に制限がなくなったからといってやりにくくなったということは全然ないですけど、答えあったですね。
Technology that is available today hasn't necessarily lessened the limitations in terms of what he wants to do, what can do, and broadened it too much. It just
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
小城さん、おはようございます。
おはようございます。
My question was, out of all of the albums that you've imported from different countries back in the day, who was your biggest influence in the many genres of music that you've worked on over the years?
.すごく好きなアーティストはたくさんいますので非常に難しいんですけど、 ですね、インポートしたそうに関してですね、そうですね、どうやって本当に難しいんですけど、例えば、ジャネット・ジャクソンですね、好きでした。あと当時90年代ですね、90年代最初ぐらいですけど、あとはポーラ・アウトとか、あとそうですね、本当にmany musicians I love them.
Okay. Thank you.
Howdy. Me and my friends have this argument every once in a while, so I just asked you to settle it. Which Streets of Rage soundtrack do you like the most?
Hello, sir. How are you? Okay, so I'm still Jeremy the Go Straight, and real quickly, okay, you worked on one of the most important video games of my life. It's called Shenmue. One of my favorite songs on the soundtrack is called Departure on a New Journey. And what I wanted to ask you was, how did you feel about Shenmue overall, and what was your inspiration for the songs you made on the soundtrack? And yeah, that's it. Departure on a New Journey. What's the name of the song? Sorry, because I have it right now. Okay, so yeah. How do you feel about Shenmue overall? That's my question.
シェムーはですね、たくさん曲、作曲家が 4,5 人いて、非常にたくさんの曲を作ったんですけど、私がもう本当にいっぱい作っていて、どの曲がどこに使われたかっていうのがあまりよく分かって実はいないんですよね。で、そのデパーチャーのミュージアムはどこの話をすみません、よく分からないんですけど、シェンムーは当時鈴木プロデューサーっていう方がいて、その方がこういう曲が欲しいのでこういう曲を作ってくださいっていうそういうオーダーがあって、それに従って作っていったので、特にそのインスピレーションはプロデューサーのインスピレーション
Since he wrote many tracks, it's very hard. He doesn't actually know where in the game each one is used and which one, so it's kind of. But at the time, the Suzuki producer at the time asked for this kind of pieces. Whenever in Japan, whenever a producer or director has a story, they come up, they want an image, they have a certain set sound that they want to hear. So the inspiration is actually based off of what the producer wants.
Hi. I was wondering what are your current likes and dislikes with electronic music currently and in the future? I mean, what sort of artists and genres are inspiring you as far as electronic music is concerned?
最近のエレクトリックアーティストもたくさん好きな人いるんですけど、先日、日本に、ティエスト彼がライブして、それに行きました。それぐらい彼が好きですね。
Like he likes a lot of different artists, but most recently, artist came to Japan. He went to a concert. He likes them a lot.
Thank you very much. Well, but I'm actually coming here as a press. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind giving me an interview sometime.
Sure.
Mr. Koshiro. I just wanted to start by saying that I'm a major fan of Maximum series. I've been playing it since the launch of the second game in the United States. And I really appreciate the atmosphere that the games provide with your music. I just wanted to tell you that. So I have two questions. The first one is about Maximum Tune 2. At least with the US versions of the game, there were two tracks that you couldn't select in the game but were available in the second OST, and they were Acid Runner and Holy Land Anthem. Do you happen to know why those songs were not selectable until Maximum Tune 3?
Do you know which ones they have, which tracks?
Acid Runner?
Is it not on the, you said that it wasn't on?
Not on the game, but it was released in the OST.
He thought that it was in the games?
It was probably in the Japanese versions, but on the US version of Elf Arcade, we didn't select them until Max Tune 3. So.
そうですね、その日本のバージョンとアメリカのバージョンの違いは私知らないんですけど、少なくとも、ゲームに入っている BGM をサウンドトラックに全部入れないと日本のゲームファンからすごいクレームいっぱい来ちゃうので、だから必ず全部入れるようにしているので、ゲームにサウンドトラックに入っているけどゲームには入っていないというものは日本ではないんですね。アメリカのは分からない。
In terms of the American version, English version, Greece version, isn't really in Japan. In order to release the CD, like all the tracks from the game have to actually be in the CD, or else you get a lot of complaints from the fans. However, he doesn't know about the American release as opposed to why that decision came about for it to not be until 2 and 3.
Okay. Alright, so my second question is about Maximum Tune 4. You have a track called the Dark Side Style, which has a very hard style, SQ feel. With the rest of the soundtrack being more trance, why did you think that a hardstyle song like that would be a good fit for the game?
特に違いを私意識はしていなかったんですけど、ですね、特に違いは意識していなくて、他の曲と私は同じように作ったつもりなんですけど、ワンガミッドナイトの曲というのは確かにトランスミュージックだったり、クラブミュージックがいっぱい入ってるんですけど、必ずそのワンガミッドナイトっていうコミックがありますから、でそのコミックに出てくる、登場人物がいるんですね、キャラクターに。でそれのイメージを考えて、そこからインスピレーションするので、その影響がちょっとあるかもしれないですね。でダークサイドスタイルっていうのはキャラクターがやっぱちょっと悪者っぽいんです。でなのでちょっとそういう悪者っぽいイメージを持って作ったので、音楽のスタイル的には違いはあまり意識しなかったんですけど、キャラクターが違う。
So consciously, he wasn't trying to do a separate the segregation between the two different styles. For him, he composes similarly to all his other pieces. So there was no conscious decision on wanting to change to use a different. However, the dark side style, they both have comics released, and so he got the inspiration to do them based off of the characters off the comic. And in dark side style, the main character is a little bit more evil, in nature, and so that's how he got into Disney that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I love your music, and I think my favorite track is I'll Save You All My Justice from The Scheme. So if anyone hasn't heard that soundtrack, it's a fantastic soundtrack. But my question is about 7th Dragon 2020. I found it interesting that there were Hatsune Miku songs in 7th Dragon 2020. I was wondering if you composed the Miku versions or if they were arranged by someone else. And if you composed them, do you think you'll work with Vocaloid software again, or is that it?
セブンスドラゴンに入っている初音ミクの曲は私の曲のアレンジです。で、次もちょっと初音ミクを使うかどうかは、まあここではちょっとシークレット言えないんですけど、セブンスドラゴンの続編が出ますので、それでひょっとしたら使ってるかもしれないなみたいなあ、でも発表されてるんだセブンスドラゴンの続編でまた初音ミクが登場するっていうのがプレスリリースされてるんで、それを言っちゃっていいんですけど、自分のオリジナルミュージックはまだそういう予定はないんですね。あくまでセブンスドラゴンの BGM に初音ミクをつけるっていう。
So it's a little bit of a secret. Can't really expose that right now, but there is talk, I guess, of the press release of 7th Dragon 2020, a sequel to that, and they have said that Hatsune Miku is in that as well. However, as opposed to Koshiro-san writing music for Hatsune Miku for the sequel, that area
still unknown. May I ask one other quick question? I just wanted to know if there were any video game series you have not composed for that you could compose for. What series would it be?
Those are the ones that are out right now.
Anything, yeah. Anything you would like to compose for.
Street Fighter.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, Koshiro-san. I have just thought of another question I was super curious about. Could you tell me what the lyrics of Phantom of Blue are? And did you do the robot voice yourself? No, it wasn't you.
サンプリング CD があります。で、を選んで、それでそれをこれが合いそうだ。意味はあまり考えてないです。
There's no, he isn't thinking about, the sampling voices that he can use, he just decided like, oh, this one sounds great, this one sounds cool. Put them all together.
All right. Okay, well, thank you very much. And your music has greatly inspired me for my own compositions, becoming a game music writer myself.
You write games?
I'm learning. I'm starting out. And you're one of my big inspirations right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well that wraps up this first panel for Yuzo Koshiro in the USA. So,